Should be up a little more, huh? Yeah. Okay, so what's this about? About BBs. About crazy adventure. That's how we want to start this up.
I don't know.
Okay, so we were supposed to have our baby Esme, our daughter, around Christmas. That's what's supposed to happen. Our whole life for a while now has been nothing but an adventure. People that know us understand that. So, and Esme came with a big adventure. True story?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A big one.
Mm-hmm. So, let's see. So Esme was born on the 5th, December 5th, at 5:48, and she weighed 5 pounds, 1 ounce, and she was 19 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
She had blonde hair, blue eyes, we expected. Let's see, what else? I don't know, you want to talk about your little... How... I guess, I don't know. When you want to jump in, you just go ahead.
Okay.
So Saturday morning, apparently, Saturday morning I woke up. I'll just say my part. Saturday morning I woke up, and Trudy was having contractions, which is sort of normal, I guess. And so they're kind of bad, not horrible, but kind of bad. And then it worked off of that. Then I asked how she's feeling. She was having contractions, and we just hang out for a little bit. She said she felt like she had the flu. She felt sick. Blah, blah. She's like, I don't want to explain it. And then I don't know her to ever get sick or anything like that. So it's sort of funny to hear her say that. And she was just laying around in bed, being, I'm in pain, blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was really, really weird. And then I looked at her phone because she was messing with her phone, and she was timing her contractions without anyone knowing, except for her, because she'd be a sneaky girl sometimes. And, let's see. So Trudy's mom got all crazy and was like, you need to go to the hospital, blah, blah. You have to go. And she said, I need to take a shower, which is kind of funny. I have to take a shower, I need to be clean.
They were only 3 minutes apart.
So, let's see. So that was it. And then that's when the craziness started. So, walking out to the car was very difficult because by the time we left, it was several hours later. Well, we checked in the hospital at 12.
I wanted to labor at home.
So, yeah.
And not in the hospital. Well, no, that's my bump in. Go ahead.
Okay. So, walking to the car was hard because we had to stop every 3 minutes because that's when your contractions were about. We had to stop, wait a minute, walk a little bit. Stop, wait, walk a little bit. We continued to do that. Drove to the hospital, which luckily was only 10 minutes away from here, so it's great. Get to the hospital, walk it in, same thing. Walked to the receptionist's desk. She was picking her nose, looking at the stars, doing all kinds of stuff. Trudy's holding on the counter all crazy and like a lot of pain and stuff because the contractions at this point are about 2 minutes apart, and they're really, really, really like super strong, crazy strong, and then we just started, and then she asked for our insurance card and all that kind of stuff like that, and we're just like, what is happening? Like, can you please just bring us somewhere, then ask for it, whatever? So went through a whole little spiel. Brought us into the room. That was room 214. No, I'm sorry, it was 209. It's room 209. We went in there, and then sat her down and said, hey, we'll check you out, blah, blah. She's like, are you sure you're having a kid, this and that? And she's like, well, I've had 2 others, and this is the way it is. So I'm pretty positive this is how it's going to go down. And the lady asked if she had a virus. Just thought it was funny.
Yeah, they thought it was a virus and not labor. But the contractions were about a minute apart and lasting for about a minute.
So
And I was dilating rapidly.
Yeah, when I first checked you were 3 to 4. Some of you was dilated. And then, I don't know, you want to tell more of the story or not? Oh, you want me to keep going? Why? Okay, I'll keep going then, I guess. Let's see. So they checked her out, asked 2 or 3 times about the virus thing or whatever. And then they said they waited an hour or 2 hours, and like Trudy said, they're about a minute apart to contractions, and they were really, really, really strong. They were just... It was like 2 hours, and they're really bad. The doctor went in, and he's like, he checked you out, and he said, okay, I'm calling it, you're definitely having a baby. And we said, yeah, no poop. So, and then we started. And then that started the process, sort of the craziness, for sure.
Yeah.
Chad, by the time the doctor called it and got stuff prepped to the room and all that stuff, the contractions were so bad, it was like end of labor contractions. So.
Yeah, we've been having this for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
About 3 hours of in labor contractions, with about 45 seconds between them, and they were lasting about a minute and plus. And there wasn't a lot of time for me to recover from one before the next one started, and we were at 7 or 8 centimeters, I think. 7.
When it started up?
No, when I've been doing that for a few hours. And then it
was like 3 hours.
Yeah, and then...
that's when they give you the thing.
Yeah, we weren't going to do an epidural, but then the doctor thought my body was fighting it, fighting the last bit of opening of my cervix, and so we talked about it for a minute and decided it was probably a good idea. So we got an epidural. It didn't really work.
Which doesn't surprise you.
Yeah. I didn't have it with my last baby because it didn't work with the first one, so it didn't work very well, but...
It took the edge off enough.
Yeah.
A whole lot, actually. Enough to where it was like a sort of normal contraction. And then... and then you started... was there anything between that? Not really. Not really, right? Because then you started pushing, right?
Then they came back 30 minutes later, and I was ready to... Well, the nurse said there was still some cervix left. The doctor came in and said it's gone, and it's time to push, so... Oh,
and they checked... they kept checking her cervix, and they're feeling like the baby's hair and everything.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my god, we can feel her hair. She's got a lot of hair. And see her head. And at one point they... actually 2 different times. The doctor's like, let me break your water... just in case, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they went, and, nothing came out, and he's like, I don't know. Let me try again. So he kind of messed around, and he's like, I can feel the baby's hair and everything with this. He's like, so there's
no
nothing
water
left, and no water came out.
So they weren't sure what was going on with that.
So, and
yeah.
then, let's see.
Oh, and then it was push.
Yes, then it was push. So, you want to tell that part? No. Why did everyone say anything? You told everyone in the hospital 47 times.
No, I did. Yeah, I did.
I know you did.
It's a little different right now. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. So, so she started to push. She told the doctor and helper nurse.
The
Nurse.
Yeah.
They told her. They said. She said, "Hey, like my, it was 2 pushes and 3 pushes for my last 2 kids, so it's going to be, third kid going to come out really easy, like butter." So she pushes once, doctor's like, good. Pushes again, good. Pushes 3rd time. She's like, holy Christ, you beat my other kids, And we knew Esme was a little honey, just some ultrasounds and all kinds of stuff. So she should have shot right out of there. Should have been a really, really easy birth.
Yeah.
In between the 3rd and 4th push, she pushes 4 times. She lets off, and then the doctor's like, uh-oh. And she's like, what? And he's like, I see a butt. And he's like, oh no, that's a butt. And he said, we don't do breech here. He's like, emergency right now, emergency surgery right now. We gotta do a C-section right now. And
she had flipped in the middle of the third and fourth push. Completely around.
And so she looked at me in complete fear and whatever, because we've discussed this for a while, and I knew that was her biggest fear, was having a C-section and an emergency thing, and her baby not being okay, and all kinds of stuff. That's like this whole thing was fear after fear. Like the biggest fears she ever had in her life have all started playing out. So, and within, they looked at me and they said, "You coming?" I said, "Yes." Of course, yes, of course. And then they threw me a gown and a bunch of crap, and they said, "Here." And everyone like threw their stuff on real quick. And as we're throwing it on, two people in gowns grabbed Trudy and rushed her right to, which is sort of like right across, so it was really convenient. Rushed her right into the emergency room, and they said, "Wait out in the hallway." I sat out in the hallway for a few minutes, which felt like a long time.
Felt like forever.
And then they walked me in and they said, "Don't look what's going on, just walk by." And they set me down behind the curtain. Set me under the curtain, and I held Trudy's hand, and she asked about the surgery or whatever, and the anesthesiologist guy, he was sitting right behind us in his loafers, which I thought was pretty funny, but whatever. Yeah, he was sitting right behind us. He's like, "You're already cut open." He's like, "You're already working." So, so after that, it was more than scary for me, and more than scary for Trudy. She was shaking a whole lot, like almost like a convulsion. And I asked the nurse, I tapped her, I said, "Hey," I said, "is this normal? She's shaking like a lot." And I said, "Yeah, that's normal with the stuff. You know, she's going to do that maybe for 24 hours here off and on." I said, "Okay." And her body was like rocking, like back and forth and shaking and all kinds of stuff, because they were like ripping and pulling, because you can see a shadow in the curtain, and they're pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling, and they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and apparently she felt a good part of it. A tear ran down her face, and that sort of made me not okay anymore. Not that I was okay with any of it, because this is totally craziness. But tear down her face, and it was really, really bad, because she was physically in pain, which you're not supposed to be. And it took, seemed like forever, and it was apparently a really long time, because I don't know anything about this stuff. Yeah.
From when they cut till they could get her out.
Yep. So yeah, it took 10 minutes, and she was grabbing onto Trudy's insides like crazy, and like wouldn't let go. So
the doctor ended up reaching in and popping out her little fingers off of everything and pushing her feet in to get her out.
Oh. So our little daughter Esme, she has crazy like frog legs. We knew that. She's got incredibly long legs. We knew that from ultrasounds and everything like that, so it wasn't a surprise, sort of, that they had to wrestle her out. So that happens. They sit her. Did they tell you about the thing first? Like, before I saw Esme, or no? Or was that during?
No, it was after.
After Esme? Okay, so they took Esme, and the I forget who she was. She was a nurse practitioner.
The neonatology, yeah.
She said, "Hey," she's like, "you should see your daughter." And I was like, "Okay." And I didn't want to leave Trudy. You know, and it took a little while for Esme to cry. And when she cried, that we both let loose. It was bad. Really, really bad. Like, we were both crying. It was like, it was crazy emotional. It was crazy, crazy emotional. So that happened, and then she asked me, she's like, "Hey, you know, come over to see the baby." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I didn't want to leave Trudy, but I was torn, because I didn't want to leave Trudy here, and I wanted to see, you know, our daughter Esme. And so I reluctantly let go of Trudy's hand and walked around the curtain and saw Trudy's. Okay, well, it was hard for me. That's all, to let you go. So I walk around and I look, and there's Trudy's guts all over her stomach. Kind of like an operation. And I walk around, and the woman was like, "Hey," she's like, "touch your baby," blah, blah, blah. And they all had gloves on. I didn't have any gloves on. rubber gloves on. I don't know if that's normal or not, but they're like, here, handle her, touch her. This is your daughter, blah blah. And they said, we're gonna wheel her over, and it was very disorganized. And I don't know if that's normal or not, but it was extremely disorganized. They couldn't find out if someone weighed her, and all kinds of. I saw if the baby get weighed, but they were yelling amongst themselves, like, who weighed the baby? Did anyone even measure the baby? Does anybody know what's going on? Blah, blah. So they said, we're going to bring the baby over by your wife, and then we're going to take her out. I said, okay. I said, good. So, and they said, you can go back by your wife. So I walked by and looked at what they were doing a little bit, and I saw, like on her stomach, like a big balloon. It was like this, like that big. Not that it really gives any idea on the camera, but it was like that big. So and I walk over, I sit down, and then, I'm going to say the next little part.
Which part? Oh, and they were talking about what was going on?
Yeah.
Oh, so before we had Esme, there was a question of something else being in my uterus, like a septum or something like that was kind of blocking off a piece of it. They weren't sure what it was. Didn't think it was going to be a problem during labor. So we had ultrasounds and things like that done, and so then the doctor said, well, Dave was over looking at Esme and making sure she was okay. He said, you remember that thing on the ultrasound? Well, you've got a golf ball sized hole in your uterus. So there was a big hole in my uterus. And during that time they called in another specialist to come look at it, because nobody had ever seen anything like that or seen a baby come out and everything be okay with all that. So they had to repair it.
What did you repair it?
They sewed the hole up, and then there was some tissue in there, and they took the tissue and flapped it over and like patched it over top of the part they stitched closed.
Yeah. And they said it was eight packs of sutures.
Yeah.
To seal the hole up.
Which is a lot for non-medical people. That's a lot.
It sounds like a lot.
It's a whole lot.
To jump back, real quick, to jump back a little bit, we called because obviously it was like a, Saturday, whatever, and we were supposed to have the baby for another 2 weeks or so. So Trudy calls up, and this Dr. Campbell, right? Mm-hmm. Dr. Campbell, he answered, and Trudy talked to him real quick and talked to him about what's going on, and he said, come on in, blah, blah, blah. So, and it turns out that Dr. Campbell was unbelievably awesome.
Yeah.
Like, totally amazing.
I was overly joyed to have him take care of me, actually. I'd never met him before. And...
yeah, it was crazy. We were very, very fortunate to have that happen. So Dr. Campbell did that. So he was sewing her up, and you could tell he took a tremendous amount of pride in what he did and his work that he does. You okay, Boo? Honey, you okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So Dr. Campbell did an amazing job, and he's like, honey, I stitched you up really, really good, and he used sutures, which isn't normal. Usually use staples, right? Mm-hmm. So he used sutures, and she's like, I sewed you up really, really, really tight. You got a great line. I did amazing work on you. Blah, blah. He's like, you're not even going to see this barely.
And you'll be able to wear your bikini again.
Yeah. And what else?
And then he talked about basically that, like, the whole how everything went down from like the Esme flipping to the C-section and all that. Like, basically it saved my life, because she would have, if we would have just had her naturally, I would have been bleeding out into my body, and nobody would have known that.
Mm-hmm. And you and the baby would have died if you waited to full term.
Yeah.
Esme and her both would have died.
She had run out of amniotic fluid. That's why there wasn't really anything when he broke my water. Mm-hmm. So, and that's why she sat so low.
Yeah. I don't know where we're at.
We're talking about her flipping around, and I would have been bleeding in.
Oh yeah, so Trudy would have been bleeding out, and she would have bled out and died in like 2 days. So if she waited full term, the baby and her would have died. If not her, then definitely the baby would have died, because she would have ran out of room, ran out of fluid, and you would have known, But so it was a huge blessing in disguise, and little Esme saved you and her's life by flipping over in the last push, showing everyone her little butt. And that's it. Then she went into the NIC room?
NICU.
NICU. She went to the NICU for, she's been in there for 6 days now. They had a checklist of things I had to go over, and she had like birth weight and temperature, and
she was having trouble breathing, and
they had to suction a lot of her lungs when I was with her right after the surgery, and they first taken her out. They had to suction a lot out of her.
And she was on the CPAP for oxygen, and then she went to nasal cannula for oxygen, and she couldn't maintain her temperature.
Yeah, it was tricky. It was crazy. So it's been 6 days, and we'll see when she comes home. Hopefully very soon. So, this is a very, very, very emotional time for us. That's all. It was very, very difficult. It's hard to leave your child in the hands of somebody else. I left that apart. I'm sorry. When the surgery was all over and we went from...
Can I join you guys?
Oh, I don't care.
Are you having, are you taping?
We're taping right now, so
Okay.
Just wait like a few more minutes. So, God, I don't know where I was
When the
at.
surgery was over?
Yeah, so surgery was over. We brought her back. We went to room 214, went in there, and...
I still hadn't seen Esme.
Yes, still hasn't seen Esme. This is hours afterwards. So I got nasty. I was, I guess, forceful to some degree. I was very forceful on Trudy seeing a baby, because she was not happy about it, and...
I was not okay.
Yeah, you were far from okay, and I pretty much told him. Well, I didn't pretty much. That's what I told him. I said, I'm like, we're going to see that baby tonight. So my wife's going to see that baby tonight, and I don't care if she's walking there. I don't care if I'm dragging her there. I don't care if I unhook her from all these damn tubes and I drag her ass in there, or I push her damn bed in there. I don't give a shit. This is what's happening. Sorry to curse, but this is what's going to happen. And I said, there's no maybes about it, because the nurse was like, we asked 3 or 4 times, and I had my head down, and I was very, I didn't want to push, and I didn't want to be a pain in the butt to anybody. And I was nice, and I was like, my wife would like to see her baby. She hasn't seen it yet. So, and it was a while. And she said, I'll check up on it, I'll see what I can do, blah, blah, that kind of thing. And I'm like, this ain't gonna work. So after 2 or 3 attempts, that's when I was like, no, this ain't gonna fly. This ain't gonna fly even a little bit. So that's when I was assertive. So the following morning, so our 2 other children, Joel and Lexi, they were there, obviously at the hospital, and it was around 12 o'clock at night. I dropped them, they left, I walked outside, I said good night to them, they got in the car and they left. I try to get back in the hospital, and it's locked. So I went to 3 different entrances to try to find an entrance so I can try to find my way back to where Trudy was, and it was cold that night. That's all. And I had a t-shirt on. So I eventually had to go in the ER. And I found my way back. So that was a funny little side note. But it was very emotional for us, this whole thing. And hopefully we get Esme soon and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. She's a beautiful little baby. We see her every day. Trudy's pumping like a mad woman. So little Esme has plenty of drink. It makes Trudy feel like a mom to be able to give her child the nourishment, not just formula. And it's just really, really hard. It's hard on us. I have my own issues. I have my own issues that really bother me a lot. And one of them is, my my youngest son is 11 now, and it's David, and I hit my head, and I don't remember a lot of different things that have occurred in my past, and one of them is a lot of my childhood things, and a lot of my childhood things, and I don't remember David walking. I don't remember a lot of things that would mean a lot to me if I could remember them, but I don't. So, and it is what it is. But this whole little thing sort of made me realize that I know what I'm doing, but I don't know how to do it because I don't remember how to do it. And it was really difficult for me to try to come to terms with the fact that I know how to hold a baby and I know how to feed a baby, but I don't remember ever doing it. So it's weird to be like, I remember doing that, but not knowing how to do it because I don't remember how to do any of it. So it's like having a brand new child again, but having memories of taking care of a child, like little bits and pieces of it. So it's very, very difficult for me to go through that. So I was a little upset last night about that. Not a little, but very upset about it last night. So it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It was hard to be strong for Trudy and hard to be strong for Esme and to be their voices when they couldn't be, and for me not to be able to express the way I felt or the way I was feeling at that time. It was really, really hard over these past 6 days. And today I got to express my concerns and my issues with some of the nurses and the issues that I have with the whole thing. So, which I did in a good manner. I didn't have to assert myself and sort of get nasty. That's sort of what happened. I don't know. What do you want to add? You're doing a good job, honey. Keeping it together. You're doing a good job, baby. So Trudy's very sore, obviously. And her one side was hurting tremendously bad for a couple days. Today, actually, she felt like herself, she said. So that's good. She's still taking pain medicine and all that stuff, but so that's it. So 6 days without your baby is not fun. Especially to Trudy. She's a baby crazy woman. She loves on babies. So it's every fear she's ever had come true. So it's been very, very hard for her. And I had to express that today on how difficult that is for us and to get BS answers from people. One woman says, yeah, it looks like maybe the weekend. And one woman says, you'll probably expect to get your baby back on the due date, which is Christmas or shortly after Christmas. So what, you can't hear one thing and then another thing. It just makes for a very crazy emotional roller coaster for both of us, and then for me to be upset, and not really show it much, and for Trudy to be outwardly upset about it when we leave every single night, and every night that's what she talks about, and that's what we both discuss is our baby, and to not be able to see it, and then to get wimpy answers makes it very hard for us. So that was all addressed today, so that's good. I don't know, but it was insane. It was scary. Esme's doing great, which is good. And Trudy's you're feeling better. It was good to have a little bit of time for you to heal up before she comes home. And that's it. So hopefully we get her really, really, really soon. So that's about it, I guess, right? You know, anything to add? I know it's hard for you. It was really hard for you. So it's a shame I'm doing all the talking, but I know you're gonna cry, honey. It's okay. You don't have to cry, boo. You're doing good. You're doing good. You're holding back good, honey. You're holding back good. So we get to see our honey soon. So we see her every day. So she's breastfeeding good and all that kind of stuff. So that's nice. So you're being a good mom, honey. You're doing a good job.
Mm.
So
You're a good dad.
thanks,
You're
honey.
a great dad.
I try to be. It ain't easy, but I try to be. So, all right. I guess that's that. Yeah. So do a sort of video, and that's that. And when we get Esme, we'll let you guys know. So hopefully really, really, really soon. So. This is it. We got our baby. I don't even know what time it is, but. Need my girl's man there. My mama. Huh?
Come on.
This is it. Honey, you got your baby.
You got our babies.
Honey.
I know.
Here's our girl's man finally coming home. That's it. After 7 days in the hospital.
I know.
She's only coming home now.
Honey,
Happy end to a story, honey.
Yes, it is. Very. Hey, did you hear her? She picked up and giggled.
Cool beans. Boop, boop, boop. And off we go.
We got their baby.
I know, honey. That's it, honey.
I know.
No more. No more hospital stay.
Nope. We have our little princess and we're good.
That's it, my boy. Time to go home.
Okay. Your Esme.
First time at the house.
Just yours.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Okay, we're going. We're going, Daddy. We gotta get.
Okay.
Come on.
Just take your time, honey.
I'm good.
First time at the house with Esme. No one knows she's coming.
No, it's a big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big surprise.
Come on, honey. Let's go bring a girl Esme. This is a camera set up good in my hand. Here the cam. Grandma, what are you gonna lock up? Easy tweezy. I know. It smells like breakfast.
Hey.
Yeah.
Did y'all know she was coming home this morning?
She's so sweet.
That's just me.
Isn't she beautiful?
She's gorgeous.
She's perfectly painted. I can say that.
Oh, she is
They
beautiful.
sent me to us. They sent me to us.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Let's go wake Lexi up with her.
Now the video. Hey, Tony. It's Grandma.
Is she home for good?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty little dogs. Dirty little dogs. Don't tell us nothing. Dirty little dogs.
Oh, she's so sweet. Look at her little smile.
Is she?
Yeah, I'm excited.
We did good.
I come out and tell them.
I'm going to surprise you. They just called us when we left.
Yeah.
Fingers, they're long.
Oh, yeah.
When you get away, Grandma, I'm going to take your clothes off and dress you and kiss every piece of you. She,
Yeah, she's 8.
They
Yeah.
fed her
Yeah.
before we got there.
Oh, she's
they were
perfect.
just getting ready to call Grandma and say, she's not coming in yet.
She's perfect. I'll sleep.
He said, Robbie, I don't think I can work for the rest of the year. Or next
Probably can't.
next year. No, I can't. They know I can't.
Her little hat. She's just perfect.
Isn't she? She's beautiful, isn't she?
You're gonna wake Alexia.
Yeah, let's go.
Y'all go in and say,
No, bring her in.
no, y'all go first and say, oh, we couldn't get her again today.
Okay, you do that then.
Or did she know we're coming?
She's still sleeping.
So just wait for her so you're ready to go see the baby. And then I'll bring her in. How about that?
She's perfect.
Mm-hmm. I'm coming, honey. Okay.
Oh, she go see the baby.
Oh my god, you guys are crazy.
Aren't they?
You were lying.
They did the same thing to me.
Go bring her the baby.
No. Oh my god.
She's waking up.
You're videotaping me. So?
It's okay.
Oh my
She
god.
is so sweet.
This is not real. It is. You got your zipper.
Oh, look at her little eyes.
What?
Look at Hi, sweetie.
Good morning, sunshine. Good morning, little bundle.
She's smiling.
Good morning.
She's perfect.
I'm sorry.
I want to see her.
You want some light?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Oh.
Grandma. Ready?
She's so cute. Little eyes open.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you can hold her after Lexi.
I'm not sure.
I'll wipe your teeth off.
You're sweet, honey.
Mm-hmm.
She's so sweet.
Roxy.
Have fun prying her from my arms.
Ooh. Dang. They're gonna be the battle.
The battle begins.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's time for Casey, then you can have
Yeah.
Let him have one thing. He's got to go let her pick cars.
Yeah.
Well,
Give me your toothpick.
No toothpicks for a baby. You just said you're a little funny.
Aww.
Get your memory.
Mm-hmm.
She's like the sweetie.
Mm-hmm.
She is. She is sweet, honey.
Yes, she is.
Give me a stomachache.
So every time I was like, no, don't cry because it hurts. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
So what did they say this morning?
Nothing. They said, come get her.
yeah, they just said, come get
Yeah.
her. She's ready to go. We're like, what?
Yep.
So they say, I know. They always say, okay, I'll be here in 20 minutes.
Did the do you have to
She
take her to
has
the
so
doctor
much
tomorrow?
expression.
Monday.
Oh, yeah.
They said she gained so much weight, she's fine. And she eats like a champ. She eats like a champ.
She just needed to get out of that basket and get some loving.
That's all.
She just needed some loving.
Mm-hmm.
She's tiny little hand. They're so tiny. That was the tiny little outfit.
Nope, that one
No.
was too small. Her legs are too long. It
Yeah,
fit
way too
everything
long.
but her legs.
Which one?
The preemie one.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't fit?
So we gave it to him.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I thought she had the other two-piece.
That's the two pieces.
That is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought